Hello ladies and gentlemen, Xentor here and welcome back to another video. And I hope all of you do well because I'm as always. And it's been a while since we've actually done a video on the YouTube channel, so I'm very sorry for that guys. I've been very busy, there's a lot going on and no time to explain it right now. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a tier list of the infinite flight aircraft because the other day I was doing a tier list with some friends and we came across this infinite flight one which we're literally staring at right now. And I've got to be honest with you guys, it looks pretty good. There's a lot of old aircraft in here. There are no of the newer aircraft added. There's no updated ERJ. So we're going to have to take that into account while doing this tier list. But we're going to start off with the aircraft which we can easily identify because these photos aren't fully clear at all. So we do have, so these are the 6 tiers we're going with today. Love flying, enjoy flying, fly sometimes, rarely fly, never fly, and just remove this game from the flight simulator in general. And we're going to start off with the P-38. And to be honest, I never fly this plane. I don't see many people flying it very often in the times I've flown in infinite flight. I don't think it needs to be removed because I think it's unique and really cool. I think some people might have it in removed, but again, I never fly it. I've never really flown it unless I'm properly messing about or being mean about the aircraft in infinite flight. So I think that's fair. We're going to go with the A10 next, and I remember when this update first came out in infinite flight, it was an incredible update. Like, it was amazing. So it was definitely one of the better things, and you know, I do rarely fly it. The aircraft is a very slow plane. You know, I don't never fly it because there are times I have to admit when I've gone into the Grand Canyon in it and done some cool messy about tricks. I mean, I very rarely fly it. I feel like there should be an extra column maybe for very rarely fly. Actually, I could add that right now if I add a row below and just call it very rarely fly. Can I do that? Yeah, let's do that. Very rarely fly. Because there's a lot of aircraft and I feel like there's nothing wrong with just adding another row. Let's make it white or grey. Grey, we'll put it, it's sort of a grey area that very rarely fly. So we'll ruin the tier list with that, and I think it is a very rarely fly aircraft that. Yeah. I'm actually going to change these colours because I'm indecisive. So we're going to make you're the grey area instead. There we go. So I think that's fair enough. The next one we got the Dash 8, which again, I fly it sometimes. I do very rarely fly it though, so I feel like I'm going to put it in rarely fly, but we're going to put it at the very top of this category for now, because I feel like I can't put it in the same aircraft category as the A10, which is why I've just added in very rarely fly. But it's a lovely aircraft. It could even be fly sometimes. I might be being too harsh, but we'll see. We will see. Okay, so now the next aircraft we're going to go with is, let's go with the Caravan. Is that here? Is this the Caravan? I believe this is the 208 Caravan in infinite flight, which again, it's a plane that I never fly. I think I would fly it more than that P-38 there, so I'm going to put it there. It's an alright aircraft, but you know, I never fly it, to be honest with you guys. So yeah, that's fair enough. The next one is we're going to go with, should we go with the Cirrus? Let's go with the Cirrus again. It's another aircraft I never fly, but I've flown it once or twice. The question is, have I flown it more than the Caravan? And I don't think I have. I think the Caravan, you know, it's a bit harsh maybe me putting it here because I've done some Caribbean island hopping with it back in the day many years ago. But I feel like for now we'll leave it here. Okay, now the next aircraft I'm going to do is the Spitfire. Now, this might be very harsh, but I don't like the Spitfire that much in infinite flight, and I think it genuinely needs a lot of love and attention. It may be getting some. I honestly haven't looked at infinite flight news in about 8 weeks because of university, so I literally have no idea what's going on. I've literally just decided to record a video. I'm going to upload it later. If I get time, I'll get to look at news later because exam season is here. I feel like it's really harsh. It's really harsh to remove this plane here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in never fly because I never fly. Like, when I've flown it, I've hated flying it. And that might just be me. That might be very, very harsh from me. But yeah, I never really enjoyed flying it. Okay, now the next one we've got is I'm going to do these 747s, these special 747s. I just don't think we need them in the flight simulator. The NASA one, I believe that's also the telescope one. They're cool additions. I mean, they're cool to have, but I don't think we need them in infinite flight really anymore. I think, yeah, they're a bit rough. They are a bit rough. Personally, I feel like, you know, we did get rid of some of the other planes like the Decathlon. They got rid of the space. Like, we actually had the NASA space aircraft rocket in infinite flight. I feel like if they got rid of that, you might as well just get rid of them as well. But that's just, you know, that's what I'm thinking. Now we're also going to do the Grumman F-14. I never fly this aircraft either. I don't fly many aircraft in infinite flight, but when I do, I tend to have my favourites. So I never fly it. I fly it more than these, than fighter jets. I definitely fly the Spitfire more than that P-38 there. Actually, maybe even the P-38 could go down a category if I'm being too harsh. It might have to. Now, this next aircraft is going to be an extremely unpopular opinion, I think. And now I'm looking at the A340 here. I'm hoping all of you guys can see this plane, and the A340. I love this plane. Like, as a plane itself, I love it. Now, I don't fly it as often as many other aircraft, but I do fly it sometimes. I used to fly it on long hauls. I always used to do London Heathrow, South Africa. When I did long hauls a couple of years ago, I used to always fly this aircraft because I think it's a really cool, unique aircraft. So I think the A340 does deserve to go there. And then we're going to go with the TBM. It's a cool aircraft. I very rarely fly it, but I think it's a cool aircraft and it does deserve to be there. And I think many people will be agreeing with me that I think it's a good addition to infinite flight. Now we might as well do the X-Cub as well while we're at it. It's got a live cockpit and everything, but literally they added this plane, and I've flown it a few times. I mean, I've flown it more than all of these, but it's definitely in the never fly category if I can, you know, swap it. There we go. Personally, I never fly the X-Cub that often. If you guys fly the X-Cub, let me know. I definitely don't. Now, I think this next aircraft is a C-130, I want to say, or maybe it's C-130J, which is this one. So the C-130s, I'm going to say keep them, but again, never fly. I'm going to put it there ahead of that P-38. I've never flown it. So yeah. And then, what's that, C-17 there. Just remove the C-17, I reckon. You know, I see it flown on casual server a few times. But I think as an aircraft itself, it might not even be an infinite flight anymore, to be honest, because I can't find it now as I'm looking on my iPad through all the aircraft. Oh no, it's a Boeing aircraft, isn't it? That's C-17, yeah. This thing hasn't got, it was last updated in 2012, so yeah, I'm going to say no. Now, next one we're doing the A380. Now, to my knowledge, there is no A380 update released yet, so I'm going to have to put it in rarely fly, because I do very rarely fly the A380. I very rarely fly it actually, so I feel like the A380 is going to go there. Now, I'm going to bump out one because you guys are going to get very upset with it being there. But to be honest, there are so many better aircraft than the A380 at the moment. I mean, I guarantee after the A380 update, it'll be right up there in love flying. But for now, it's staying there, and it's going to have to stay there. Now, the next one, we've got the 717. I very rarely fly it. I used to fly it in Australia quite often. But again, this aircraft, it needs a lot of rework being done to it. Now, we're going to do the Cessna as well. Very rarely. Yeah, I rarely fly it. I do use it sometimes for XP farming, which I used to do. So I haven't flown in a while, but when I do fly, I do tend to use that aircraft for that mission. So I suppose it's good in that sense. We can allow that. Is this Air Force One? To be honest with you guys, I've never flown Air Force One. Some people do fly it. I feel like it's a bit of a boring livery. I feel like it shouldn't be separate by itself in the 747 category. Actually, it might even be one of the liveries. Yeah, it's one of the liveries. I'm being dumb, but I've never flown it really. I don't see it. I've probably flown it less than the P-38, to be honest, in infinite flight. So that's quite embarrassing actually. Now we're going to do the Citation X. It's getting removed. I never fly it. I've flown it more than all of these aircraft though. But yeah, it's another aircraft that I never fly in infinite flight. So yeah, I feel like this never fly section is going to be very, very full. That's a bit of an oops, but it will be alright. It will be alright, hopefully, fingers crossed. Now the next one we're going to do, now that is a 737 here. And this is going to be the first aircraft that goes in, is that a love or do I enjoy flying that? Do you know what? I'm going to leave it in enjoy. Or I could bump it up to love. We're going to put it in love. There's a lot of livery options in the 737 family, and I think I do actually love flying all of these many liveries. Now the next one we've got the ERJ. Now since this update, I've flown it sometimes because of that update. Obviously more recently, more than the A340, so I will put the ERJs there. The ERJ family is a pretty cool family. Now I'm a bit worried here that I'm going to start mixing some aircraft up. Now the MDs have the split scimitars here, so since they got released in Infinite Flight in about 2017, and since then I don't actually think I've flown them, so I think they're in Never Fly. But of course the DC and MD 11s and 10s I've definitely flown more than these aircraft, I'm convinced. So I feel like I would want to fly them more. Maybe putting the Citation XM might be a bit far forward. Maybe the X Cub could come forward. Again, I never fly really these aircraft personally in Infinite Flight. Now we might as well do the F-16 while we're at it, and this aircraft used to be very popular, a very popular aircraft in Infinite Flight. So I feel like the F-16 can go. We're gonna put it in very rarely fly because everyone loves an escort, and I see lots of escorts. Maybe fly sometimes actually. I see a lot of people flying in the F-16, but same with the F-18 here, which got reworked, and I have, since it got reworked, I've enjoyed flying it, and I think it's been a great aircraft to fly. I mean, I'd probably rather do a flight in one of these, maybe even some of these instead of it, but I do enjoy flying it. It's a great cockpit to work with, and it's amazing. And I think we can go with the 747 next, and we're going to, I do enjoy flying it. I enjoy flying that 747. I definitely enjoy it more than some of these aircraft up here, okay? So I think we should now do the final jet, which is the F-22, if I'm not wrong. And again, I fly it sometimes. It's same. I fly it more than the F-14, the F-16 there, I think. So I definitely am going to put that there, maybe even above the A340. Yeah, I feel like it. No, I'm going to put it below. I'm going to stick to my initial gut. Now, this is going to be fun trying to tell the difference between all these aircraft, and I think I'm going to get them all right. Now, let's start off with this one, because this is a Boeing 777, and I love flying these things. I just love the 777. Since they got updated in 2020 in Infinite Flight, I love them. They are the best plane. And then this must be a 787, which again, I love flying it in Infinite Flight. The 787 is phenomenal in Infinite Flight. It is probably one of the best aircraft we have in Infinite Flight. I think all it needs is actually a live cockpit. I don't even care about a cabin in this aircraft. If they give this thing a live cockpit, I'll be the happiest person alive. So the next one, we've got the CRJs. I rarely fly them. Fly more than the Cessna, but again, I very rarely fly them. And I believe this aircraft here on the left is the A320 family. And they're the same with the 737s. I do really love flying them, and I think I need to rearrange this top layer because I'd rather fly a 787 than a 777, I think. Especially if it had a live cockpit. And the 777, I think I'd rather fly a 737 and an A320. A320s are going to go bottom of that series, I think. So that means this aircraft must be a A330, I want to say. There's an A350. I believe it's a 757 and a 767. We're going to put 767, just remove this plane. It's not got a cockpit in Infinite Flight. It needs to be completely wiped, and we need a completely new 767 in Infinite Flight. I mean, they've probably done something, to be honest, but of course, I've hardly been on Infinite Flight in a very long time, so who knows? And then we got I've forgotten what plane is what. The A330, I love it. If you don't love flying the A330, I don't know, you need help. Because the A330 is literally the easiest plane to butter in the world. Same with the A350s, I love flying it. I'd probably fly it more than a 777. No, less than a 777. I reckon 777 we're going to firm it. And the 757, I quite enjoy flying a 757. It's not a go-to, but I do enjoy flying it. So I think this is a good tier list. You know, we got so in enjoy flying at first we got the A330. Then a 787, a 737, a 777, A350, A320 family. And I think the A320 family might have been done harsh here. Some of you might be upset about that. And then enjoy flying. We're going to put the F-18 first. I'm going to put the 747 above the 757. Then in fly sometimes we've got the E175 or the Embraers, the A340, and then the I believe that was the F16 and F16 and F22. We got the Dash 8 then in rarely flying with the A380. I think the A380 is very low actually. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there because I don't fly, very rarely fly it. We got the CRJ here, and then of course the Cessnas. Very rarely fly. I've got the A10. Since the update, not many people have taken it out, I don't think. We've got the TBM and the 717. And then in Never Fly, we've got the Citation X, the MD and DC. So we got the MD11s, DC10s. We got the TBM. No, we don't have TBM. The X Cub, sorry. I honestly, I've never flown it. I know some people like bush flights, but you can't really do bush flights in a flight with the scenery. You got the other Cessna Caravan, I think. And then we got the Cirrus, the F-14, the Spitfire, the C-17, I think. No, that's C-130, P-38, and the 747 with the Air Force One livery, because literally never flown that. And then, of course, remove this plane. We've got the two of the 747s. We got the Sophia one, which is for the NASA, and the SCA, which is for NASA again, of course. We got that C-17 and a 767. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, and yeah, other than that, I'll see you all in my next video. Good night.